In the rarefied world of fashion, few names evoke as much flair as Versace. Indeed, this brand, so representative of hedonistic luxury, unapologetic glamour, and audacious creativity, has secured an enduring place on the global stage. Yet, beyond the iconic designs and gilded runways lies a complex tale steeped in family drama, tragedy, and a delicate balance of power. At the heart of this saga is Allegra Versace, an heiress to an inheritance of over $800 million who was thrust into a world of immense wealth and legacy, yet burdened by a deep reluctance to fully embrace her runway-filled destiny. Thus, in today's video, we explore how after Allegra inherited a staggering nine-figure fortune at just 18 years old, her life has been defined not by the wealth and status that surrounded her, but by a complex struggle with her mother and beyond. Allegra Versace Beck came into the world dripping in designer labels and generational wealth. Specifically, as the daughter of Donatella Versace, fashion's grande dame, and American model Paul Beck, Allegra is the niece of the legendary Gianni Versace. Now, at just 11 years old, life handed Allegra an inheritance most of us wouldn't even know how to spend in several lifetimes. Thus, by 2023, her wealth had ballooned to an eye-watering $900 million. You'd think with that kind of cash and such a storied name, she'd be front row at every couture show. But no, Allegra prefers the quiet life, shunning the spotlight her last name so effortlessly attracts. Then there's Mother Donatella, the queen of reinvention herself. After Gianni's murder, she didn't just keep the Versace brand alive, she turned it into a global juggernaut. Indeed, she's been the creative force driving Versace to new heights while also serving as the group's vice president. That kind of empire building is not for the faint of heart, but then again, neither is her lifestyle. Take Villa Mondadori, Donatella's 15,000 square foot playground perched beside Lake Maggiore. Purchased for a neat $5.6 million. It's the kind of home you could get lost in for days. 20 bedrooms, 12 bathrooms, and enough space to throw the kind of lavish parties that have seen the likes of Walt Disney and Ernest Hemingway swanning around. Furthermore, its proximity to Lake Como, where Gianni once owned a villa, only adds another layer to the Versace family's deep-rooted connection to Italy, wealth, and style. And yet, with a mother living at that level of style, and a personal net worth double that, you're probably wondering why Allegra Versace has opted to stay out of the limelight. "My mom dressed me in silk to go to elementary school," she told Harper's Bazaar in 2007. "In kindergarten, they sent me home because I couldn't do finger painting in my dress." Instead of fashion, Allegra spent her childhood learning history and drama. She was given her first piano by Elton John, who she called Uncle, The Guardian reports, and she spent 9 years studying ballet. Always, Allegra was devoted to her uncle Gianni. She acted as peacekeeper between he and her mother, who were frequently at odds. Donatella approved of the connection, once telling New York Magazine, "My children were his children." He was always with Allegra. Since she was 9 years old only, she would listen to him. They went to see museums. She knew all the museums in America, in France, in England, and Gianni loved art. She would sit with him and go through art books, and she knew the art of Picasso. It was adorable. She was such an amazing, special little girl. It was tragic, the way Allegra and her little brother Daniel learnt of Gianni's death in 1997. The pair were seated in front of the television watching cartoons, the way any two children might, when a news flash interrupted their reverie. They recognized the house on the screen. It was their uncle's house in Miami in the US, a place they'd spent countless summers visiting. The newsreader told them their uncle Gianni had been shot dead on his doorstep by a serial killer. Suddenly, Allegra was the heiress to a 50% share in a $500 million business that would enter her name as soon as she turned 18. "Why did Uncle Gianni choose me?" she asked her mother when the will was read, The Age reports. At only 11, Allegra felt guilty she wasn't with her uncle when he died, and bewildered at the responsibility he'd placed at her feet. At 18, in June 2004, Allegra inherited her uncle's share of the Versace empire. It made her the largest stakeholder in the business, with her uncle Santo owning 30% and her mother Donatella owning 20%. She wanted nothing to do with it. Allegra's first move as the most powerful person under the Versace banner was to ask for more time. She wanted a few years of freedom, according to Donatella, who spoke to The Guardian, as she wished to finish her university studies. With Donatella running the fashion house instead, Allegra moved to America at age 20 to study French, art history, and theater. She continued earning her own money, trying work as a backstage dresser in New York Broadway shows and on designer runways. "I prefer the anonymity," she said. Still, she could not escape her own history, though she frequently opted to use her father's name Beck instead of Versace. It wouldn't be long before the paparazzi would again be lurking around street corners, photographing her exercising in the park, following her to work, and rendering her anonymity impossible. In 2007, 1 year after she started college in America, Allegra's mother and father released this telling statement, the Daily Mail reports. "Our daughter Allegra has been battling anorexia, a very serious disease, for many years. She is receiving the best medical care possible to help overcome this illness and is responding well. Since then, she has been rarely seen or heard from." In 2016, attending the Met Gala with Donatella, she told reporters, "Unlike my mother, I hate celebrity." Allegra's battle with her health is ongoing, and she typically stays away from Versace headquarters, despite being the company's official director. If Allegra sees her own photos or sees herself on TV, she loses her mind. She's got body dysmorphic disorder, a former employee of the fashion brand's Milan headquarters told News Corp. They say she has a job working with the company, but she's not really running anything at Versace. "We know so little about Allegra Versace, someone whose life was changed forever, when her uncle Gianni was returning home from a beach walk to find killer Andrew Cunanan one July morning in 1997. She got lost in the darkness following the murder of her uncle, someone she calls a genius. And despite her enviable status within a family of immense power and wealth, you can't help wondering, she'd prefer to be someone, anyone else."